probably gonna be one of my last videos for a while because I have this problem with my PlayStation since it's a PlayStation Pro that it's super loud and it keeps being heard like an engine in the background. And I'm not really liking that, and I'm sure nobody's gonna like that. Alright, in this video I'm just gonna talk and say my opinion, what I think of the 2020 elections and what's been going on in life, the pandemic, everything that's been really going on in my view. And basically the YouTube channel is not like I have subscribers or viewers. This is just me documenting my opinions and my gaming, mainly my gaming. And but it's been a crazy year and I want to talk about it. I feel like there's a perfect moment to talk about it considering everything that's happened. And the more I try to speak proper English, the more I have errors because English is not my primary language. So I welcome whoever sees this video to hear my opinions. There's a public video to hear what I think and what's been going on and how I see it. So the first thing I want to talk about is the pandemic. You know, uh, this pandemic came out of nowhere for me. I was living my life, working my job, you know, kids, family, and all of a sudden this pandemic came out of nowhere. And before we even knew it, it was in front of our front door. I had family members that were affected by it, and this pandemic, this pandemic made me lose my grandma. She's been a part of my life, all my life. She's been like my second mom. And her life was lost in this pandemic. And it's crazy because I didn't even get to see her because people who are infected, they just disappear from your life. You never see them again. They go to the hospital and that's it. And I already found out that, there's no way to see them. So the pandemic as well was very confusing. Information, nobody was sure. Wear a mask or touch this, clean your hands, and nothing was sure of anything. Everything was so confusing and scary. It was really scary. And the fact that somebody in my family died and people were getting sick and the media keeps saying different things. I lost my job. I lost my life. Everything we had to accommodate to being schooled from home with the kids. Kids go to homeschooling now, online classes, and get used to going shopping and stuff with masks and taking precautions. And some people don't care and other people care, but some people are dying and other people get sick and they don't die. It's very confusing time. You don't know what's true, what's a lie, what's going on. You just fear. You feel fearful. But I am grateful that I spent all this time with my family. I am grateful that I had this time to share. At the same time that it was scary, it was really scary in the world. It was such a relief to spend time with my family, to be free to stay at home with my kids and my wife and share so many moments that we never had time to share before because we were always in school and work and busy. The little time we had was for ourselves and to rest, to get ready for another day. Just like the working man's life. There's never time. Time It's always running out, slipping through our fingers, and we're always in a hurry. So in a way, it is death and rebirth. For many things died and many things were born. Very confusing time. Okay, now the most recent thing that has happened is what happened at the Capitol. How the Republicans, basically a lot of Trump supporters, not really Republicans, but Trump supporters, decided to storm the Capitol, thinking they're fighting for freedom, you know, with flags and this is the revolution, you know, and they just the way I see it, they really think they're patriots and they're fighting for freedom, and they call themselves Republicans. But are you a Republican or a Trump supporter, Trumper, you know? And it's a very scary moment for the American government. It's embarrassing. That's the first thing. It's embarrassing. It's a shame that the government got attacked in such a embarrassing way. The other thing is they call themselves patriots and they're fighting for freedom, but they carry flags with the name of Trump. You know, are you fighting for the people or are you fighting for the selfish needs of one man? You They even lowered the American flag. The American flag that soldiers die for. You know, so many people had fought for to lower the American flag to rise a flag that says Trump for president. Are you kidding me? You're fighting for one man, one name. That's a dictatorship. That is something. What are you doing? They're very confused. It is my opinion that they're very confused. And just like any war, it doesn't matter what side you're on, you always think you're the good guys. Because on this side, we're gonna be like, yeah, we're fighting for freedom and we're fighting for the people. And over there, they're gonna be like, what are you talking about? We're the patriots. We're fighting for freedom and the people. And that's war. The bad guy is only the person who's in the opposite side. It's very confusing. And I feel like they've been brainwashed. I feel like they've been brainwashed to the point where they could. You know, when people are brainwashed, when they only see what they want to see? And when Trump condemned, you know, when Trump came out and condemned them for violence in the Capitol, now they're saying, oh, that was fake, a fake video, that was a robot, that was a clone. You know what they're gonna say? That was basically a alien reptilian lord dressed as Donald Trump saying, like, come on, man. You'd rather see anything instead of the truth. That's when you know you're lying to yourself. Like, you'd rather believe in aliens before you accept the truth. Like believing in anything to just see what you see. To see whatever you want to see and see things. Like, open your eyes. You're being deceived. But this is my opinion. You know, this is how I see it. I feel like those people are being deceived. They're victims of themselves. And this Donald Trump, it's not been good. Donald Trump he's a president for the rich. He basically lost the popular vote and paid his way in through the electoral college, because the electoral college is the rich, the benefited, you know, the people who can benefit from having a president who benefits the rich. He's a president for the rich and the benefited. to make the rich richer and more in power. And they said, I like money. I think we should choose him because I like money and I like to have more money. And every time he gives me money, it just makes me happy. And I'm I don't know. I think it's a horrible situation. And I think those people really should come to terms that they've been lied to and they're not really standing for what they think they're standing for. And there's a lot of old people that show up in the Capitol. I'm like, come on, old people. Just because just because they're called Republicans doesn't mean they're fighting for a republic. You know? It's like just because we called the Cowboys doesn't mean we're really cowboys. Right now, did you know the Cowboys are robots? We're robots. We just carry the title of cowboys. So just because you're Republican as a name, as the name of the party, doesn't mean you stand for a republic. You gotta look at the facts. What are you standing from? Anything could have a title, but you gotta see if it actually stands for what its name is. And lowering American flag to raise the flag of one man with one name, that's not very republic. Now on the other hand, we have the Democrats. The Democrats, well, I don't know if I agree with them either. In this democracy, we throw away all the people's votes. Everybody go out and vote. Everybody goes out and votes. And that's called the popular vote. Just because you were elected in the popular vote by the people doesn't mean you won, because they have this called the Electoral College, which is a group of educated elite people, and they take the final decision. So they could throw your vote right in the trash, because at the end, they're the ones that make the choice. And that's a democracy. And I'm like, I don't agree with that either. I don't agree that there should be a small group of privileged men or of privileged people deciding for all of us. It should be a republic for the people, by the people. That's the thing. The fact that they could just throw everybody's opinion to the wind and they make the decision at the end to who's who and what's what. Well, that's a democracy, no? That's what people think they want, or that's what they've been convincing people to want. A democracy. And I don't think I agree with that either. So at the end of the day, what happened at the Capitol was terrible. And for our country and government, it's terrible. It's terrible what's going on. It's terrible what will happen, probably. And it's a terrible way for the rest of the world to see us. I think that what was done was wrong by some of the leaders in the Republican Party, and the things they said and ignited by throwing fuel into the fire. And I really think there has to be justice. They have to be set as an example, because if there is no justice, the next one is gonna come up and it's gonna be worse. He's just gonna come up and he's gonna be like, well, there's that. If it's that easy, if it's that easy and there's no consequences, why not? There has to be justice. They have to be put as an example. Therefore, so nobody should ever challenge and never ever this happen again, because there is a firm price to be paid. And they gotta show power. They gotta show power for the foundation of this country, and they gotta show power so other nations around the world could see that power as well. But that is my opinion as well. That's just what I think should be fair, because it's just terrible. It's embarrassing. So just like the Republicans are red and the Democrats are blue, we gotta keep a perfect balance. We can't let this nation turn too blue or turn too red, because any extreme will break the balance. We gotta make sure it stays in a perfect balance, because this is supposed to be a nation where you are free to live the American dream, where you are free to have an idea and make that idea your business and grow, make your business grow, and have the possibility to expand and become wealthy, and buy your piece of land and live your life. This is a country where you are encouraged to grow and be who you are, who you want to be. And who you want to be is possible for you to be. Is a place where there is opportunity and growth and technology and expansion and knowledge and evolution, and that's how it should be maintained, where people are free to live out their lives without fear of criminals and injustice, where you could be any color, any sexual orientation, you could believe in any faith, and be free to be who you are. It's a nation made of a rainbow, a mixture of people and cultures and languages, where we could all live and live out our dreams and raise our children and live our lives and depend on good infrastructure, where we have medicine, doctors, hospitals, highways, laws, departments of justice, we have health care, we have transportation, the skeleton of the nation, the infrastructure of the nation that is built upon this should be strong, and the people should be strong, and they should keep everything in the perfect balance. But that is my opinion, and that's how I see this nation, and that's how it should be. But now I'm getting a little concern. So right now, how I feel this moment in time where we are, we just started 2021. We're in January 8th, and the way I see it, since 2020 started, Australia almost completely burned. We almost started World War III with Iran, which ironically, I think in 2018 we just celebrated an anniversary of 100 years since World War One. I'm not sure. I think, yeah. I gotta look it up, but I think, and it's crazy. We almost started World War Three in the beginning of 2020, and then right after that, thank God a war didn't start, but we were so close. Then a pandemic wraps the world and locks everything up. And who knows how this is gonna, in the future, affect how the economy is gonna be broken. And the now our government seems to be breaking, and we don't even know what's gonna happen next. In this moment in time, I'm like, and now what? This seems like a movie. Seems like we jumped into an alternate reality where all these impossible things that we see in fiction could happen. What's next? An alien invasion? You know? Who knows? We're only in January of 2021. Many people didn't make it. And it's not it's not looking good. It's not looking good. Hopefully. Hopefully things get better. Me, me personally, I've always chosen to be a loner. I've always chosen to be alone, isolated, by myself. I learned at a young age that, first of all, I was reckless when I was younger. And I made a lot of stupid decisions, I would say. And I saw many people I cared for fall, lose their life, lose their freedom. And for what? A lot of people were trying to feed their families, and by losing their freedom, they ended up doing the opposite, not being able to see their family or help them out in any way. And I figured that wasn't the way. And being an honest, hard-working person, it's hard as well, as people always try to take advantage of you. You try to work hard and they'll take advantage of that. I tend to be a person that is a victim of my own success because I try to work hard, therefore they use me more. I've always tried to avoid making new friends, thinking that they are gonna lead me into roads that I do not want to travel. Things I have seen before. And it always seems to be that way. I try to avoid those paths, and as much as I care and love them, I'm not gonna falter, and I have chosen solitude all this time. But in times like this, and after this, um, obligated, social distancing, and losing my job and all that, now I feel like I miss people so much. Especially a lot of people from my job. It's not something new for me to dream of work because I was always one to be working. But now I still dream of work in a different way. I dream how much I miss it. I dream how it would be for me to go back. What will people say? You know? I dream of what's happening in their lives. I like to imagine in a way that everything could have been different if all this never happened. And a lot of the times I think, did I make the right decision? Should I have just ignored everything and not let fear make my decisions? Because in a way, I kind of feel like everybody's living their life and nothing ever changed, just me. And that is something scary in itself. If I could take it all back, would I have regretted it? But to tell you the truth, I miss people. I miss my coworkers as much as I miss my guest. Because I used to work in basically as a salesman slash um warehouse slash who knows. I work at everything. I could do everything. So I miss everybody. I miss everybody. I wish the best for them. And I don't know. I'm questioning everything. I just had so much time to think. Or choosing isolation for so many years, and now that I'm forced to be isolated, I don't know what I think about it anymore. Now, all this time, I've been with my wife and kids at home. And I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for my wife, if it wasn't for the strength she has to give me, I feel like we hold each other up. And I will always say that she saved my life because I was a complete idiot when I was younger and I would throw my life away in a heartbeat. And ever since I met her, she gave me purpose. And as soon as we had our first child, she gave me more purpose. So in a way, I always said she saved my life because she gave me a reason, a real reason to live. Living for yourself is never enough. It's never good enough of a reason to live. But to live for others is always the best reason. At least for me it is. It's always been the reason to move forward and do things. I never work for myself. I don't work for myself and I don't work for the company I work for. The only reason I work is for my family. Therefore, no matter wherever I am, my boss is always at home. Because I don't work for this corporation or that corporation. I work for my family, for the people I love. That's the only reason. And that's the only reason I give my life for. So I'm very grateful that she has shown the strength not only to be with me, but to hold me up, and she has done so much, and I have to be grateful. Not only so much for me, but for the kids, the family. I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed in this way, and I'm grateful because I'm only as strong as she is, you know? And together we become a reckless force. But I'm grateful. That's what I could say. I'm grateful, and it's been easier. Okay, now another thing is having a plan. Having a plan. We would have never survived like we have if we never had a plan. You know, I've always been very paranoid. I've always been a person to be, uh, how do you say it? When you're always expecting the worst to happen. Apprehensive. I've always been apprehensive of what's gonna happen next. I've always been, we gotta get ready for this, and in case this happens, I'm a prepper in a way. A prepper in a way. And if it wasn't for that way of thinking and being ready, and thank God my wife is on board with all this too, we would have never survived. Thank God for saving money, and thank God for having food, and thank God for having a plan. Because when everything got bad, it was very useful to already know what the hell to do. And I feel like this has also been a lesson that you should always be prepared. And the people who weren't prepared, I'm sure they had to deal with difficult situations. Everything this past year, has been a challenge. And in that challenge, there's been a lot of blessings. Not only with the help of neighbors and and good people around our life, people we have helped and people that have helped us. Grateful for everything. Everything. Having a plan is always a good idea for any situation. And that's how we've made it. We've made it this far at least, because who knows what tomorrow will bring. But up to now, I am grateful that we were ready, and we will always be ready. As long as I'm here, we will always be ready, because being ahead of things is always the best plan. And that's my recommendation for everybody. Being ready, even if you think it's not gonna happen, things you never know when it actually gonna happen. And then all of a sudden it's at your front door. So be ready. So at the end of the day, my conclusion could only be what I expect from the future, or what I want the future to be, or what I think the future will be. And I tell you, we could only expect more challenges. That's a fact. You know, and all we could do is be ready for whatever comes next. All we could do is be ready for whatever comes next. You know, I hope, and I can only hope for the best. And I wish everybody the best as well. And, you know, I could only wish for the world to be a better place and everything to be settled, and, you know, have an awesome job and be able to live many years from now in peace and provide for my family, for us to have what we need, because it's not really necessary for us to have things that we don't need. That is a bonus. I can't complain. But as long as we have what we need to live, as long as we have the basics, which is shelter, food, water, you know, anything else is a bonus. And at the end of the day, that what counts is that we're together, that we're safe, we're healthy, we're alive, you know. And as long as we could move forward and the world could, I like to think it can only get better from here. No, can't get any worse. But you say that and then something else happens. But whatever it is, it's always good to be ready for whatever's next. As I like to say, I like to tell my wife this all the time. You know, it's better to keep it's better to keep low expectations for stuff. Therefore, when anything happens, you will be happy, because since you had low expectations to begin with, then it could only be good. Anything that happens could only be good. Therefore, if you have high expectations, you will most likely end up disappointed, because when we have high expectations for things, we always have the expectations too high. So keep low expectations and you will always be surprised and amazed. And another thing is always expect the worst. You can only expect the worst. Always expect the worst thing to happen, and anything that happens can only be better than the worst. So if you go out expecting the best possible outcome, as usual, you will be only disappointed. But go instead expecting the worst outcome. As if I go out, the worst outcome is dying. So if I come back alive, it was a good day. But that's the way I see the world, you know. She's she has her own way to see the world, and I cannot obligate her to see the world my way. But we love her all the same. And as I was saying, the world is what it will be, and we can only expect everything to be the best it could be, or we can only hope that it will be the best it could be. But always expect the worst, and challenges will come, and we will be at the ready. I hope everybody. I really wish for everybody to have an amazing life. I wish you guys the best, and I wish for peace, prosperity, and good fortune to all. But I think this is the end. I think I'm gonna leave it here. I think I have spoken my mind enough. Besides, who the hell is gonna listen to all this? So this is really for myself, or for my kids in the future. But I think that's it. I think that's good enough. And I'm only saying that to myself. That's good enough, man. That's good enough. We can leave it here. We done good.
Meetings. I sense you have many questions. I may answer only one.
You know what's happening to me, don't you?
You are dying. You have two souls within you. One wants to fight, the other is afraid.
Which one's mine?
Both.